at 2 o'clock in the morning as we await Donald Trump to take the stage here in West Palm.
Yeah, we're in a bit of a holding period right now. The crowd is I guess, watching some speeches or videos right now, and they're waiting for the former president to come out. We don't know whether he will claim victory. Again, we have not made that call. At least one other network has, and the crowd reacted to that a bit early, but we make no statement from that other than the fact that we're our decision desk works along with its own metrics in making these decisions, so they will at some point make calls, and we'll see where the evening ends up.
Yeah, well, barring an earthquake in some of these states, such as Alaska, I think that by calling Pennsylvania, it's sort of all over, but the voting. But we will wait for the official moment of 270 votes. But I can guarantee you Donald Trump is it. There's Vivek Ramaswamy, Doug Burgum. These are former opponents in the primary who were quickly dispatched and then came over to the Trump side, and perhaps they have stars in their eyes about what roles they may play in a Trump administration.
There's another piece of history that if this goes the way that it seems likely to go here, and he does hit 270 electoral votes, he would be the oldest president ever elected. He would actually beat now President Biden by about 143 days. So he would make history in that setting as well. That is not something he prefers to talk about, especially as age has become front and center in this race, as Vice President Harris looked to cast him as sort of exhausted, questioning his fitness for office in those final days of the campaign. Again, an argument that clearly did not seem to resonate for voters in Georgia, in North Carolina, and Pennsylvania, those battlegrounds that appeared to be putting him over the edge.
Let's go to Garrett Hake. He is there at the Trump headquarters. Garrett, can you tell what the audience is listening to right now, and any word on when we might see Mr. Trump?
Lester, they're listening to a discussion of the race on Fox News. Beyond that, I'm still embarrassingly bereft of much programming information. The Trump team briefly took down the teleprompters that had been on stage for the last hour or so, leading us to believe that Trump was going to come out and speak off the cuff, which sort of tracks given that we knew he had not written any remarks earlier in the day. Then we just a moment ago saw staffers come back out and reassemble the teleprompter. Trump's son, Eric Trump, just posted a picture on social media of the former president backstage holding papers that appeared to be remarks, perhaps rehearsing, getting ready to come out. But the guidance we have gotten from the campaign remains an ambiguous soon. And beyond that, we are left to wait and wonder with the rest of you as I'm watching staffers make yet another adjustment to the former president's teleprompter on stage.
Yes, it's getting to be late here, and we are awaiting former President Trump, and we're just doing a switcheroo here with getting our Capitol Hill correspondent in position here. We have a lot to discuss with him as we talk about and potentially a new Washington. We haven't called the race yet, but we've called Pennsylvania, and that just about does it, as all of us who've been studying the map certainly know by now.
A new Washington that looks a little bit like the old Washington, right? Yes. With Donald Trump back in office here. The dynamic's different, especially with the way that the Republican Party has changed. Think about it, gone. And Ryan Nobles is joining us, knows this. Mitch McConnell will not be in Senate leadership anymore. I remember in 2017 when Kristen and I were, newly minted White House, or you were a White House correspondent, I came on board. There's a lot of discussion about the Republican establishment and Donald Trump, and would he bend to them or would they bend to him? We now have that answer 8 years later, and that is what Washington, it seems, if this goes the way, barring any big surprises, will look like.
Well, and that's what we were talking about at the convention. This is Donald Trump's Republican Party.
Yeah, and the type of new senator that you're going to see coming in and joining the ranks of the existing senators are all senators that are in what you'd call the MAGA mold, right? These are people that have run campaigns that are in the same vein as the type of campaign that Donald Trump has run. These are people that very much sought Donald Trump's endorsement, felt that it was necessary to connect with him and his base. The best example of this is Mike Rogers, right? Former congressman from Michigan who, at a certain point in his career, attempted to try and break himself from Donald Trump, tried to be a part of this kind of anti-Trump establishment. Maybe he thought that was the future of the Republican Party. went away from politics for a little while, came back when he saw that a seat was open in Michigan, and basically did everything he could to make himself in the MAGA mold. And now he's going to be a part of this new group. Oh, he could potentially be part of this new group of senators. We haven't called that.
Yeah, I'm just peeking. He's leading it by a little
Yeah,
bit. We have it as too close to call.
Right.
Well, I mean, you look at Senator Marco Rubio, who I just saw there. I mean, all of these former opponents, it's either get on board or get run over. And, you know, that's kind of the way that it's been, and many of them have. I mean, former Trump critics, I might mention J.D. Vance, a former Trump critic who is about to be vice president of the United States.
Yeah, I mean, and I've had many conversations with both senators and aides and people with a lot of influence on Capitol Hill, and they've talked about this metamorphosis. And they've talked about how maybe they don't like necessarily Donald Trump's personality or the way he presents himself or the way he talks about people, but they also realize that, and what is clearly evident tonight, that he has captured the pulse of at least half of the American people, and in particular, the American people that elect Republicans to office. And so you can try and fight against that establishment if you want to be a Republican, or you can get on board, and more you see these Republicans getting on board. The question, I think, becomes, does that translate into some sort of governable posture? You know, they're very good at throwing pot shots. They're very good at complaining about things, turning that into actual action, because Donald Trump has laid out a long list of things he'd like to get done. Like, how quickly can he remove tax on tips or tax on overtime, which is something that he's promised? He may have the votes to do that. Now it's actually time to turn
but then you got to find the money elsewhere when you want money for other things. So budgets are budgets.
Right.
I do think it's worth, just as we sit here and reflect on the history of this moment, thinking about not only is this historic because he's the first president to serve 9 consecutive terms in more than 100 years, but think about the political comeback that we are witnessing. Think about January 6th and the days after that, and the number of Republicans who wrestled with whether to impeach him again and convict him, and who tried to separate themselves from him, much like you're discussing, Ryan, and who'd written him off politically, who just could not conceive of this moment. And then he had this incredible showing in the primary, and now here he is tonight on the cusp of
I think back, Kristen,
going back to the White House.
Often of that period of time where Mitch McConnell had that moment where he had to make a decision during the second impeachment trial as to whether or not he would lift his thumb and allow a whole group of Republican senators who were seriously thinking about voting to impeach him, and put Donald Trump in a position where he would not be able to run for office again. And at the time, Mitch McConnell's argument was that this was not a decision, a political decision, that this would be a legal decision.
Decided in the courts.
He would be prosecuted, and a judge and jury would decide whether or not he should be convicted of those crimes.
I want to show you very quickly a photo of Donald Trump apparently taken backstage. This is not it, but there it is. So he's...
I think that was posted by one of his sons, just mentioned by Garrett Hake a few moments ago. So.
One of the other... I'm sorry, I was going to say, one of the other things, I think there is still some suspense to the evening as it relates to the margin here and to the popular vote, right? Because this is something else that speaks to this idea of a mandate. Because over the course of the last 8 years, one of the things that you often hear said about former President Trump is, well, he doesn't have half the country, right? He's not there. He wins the electoral vote. What does the popular vote look like? And what do these other battlegrounds look like? Yes, we've called here at NBC News, Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Arizona, Nevada, all still out there. His campaign, his allies, would be thrilled with a battleground sweep if that's what this turns out to be, as a talking point that will drive them over the course of the next
90 months. Well, not only that, I mean, Donald Trump has been extremely clear about his agenda, whether it's no tax on tips or if it's tariffs, if it's, you know...
Mass deportations.
Mass deportations, the war in Ukraine, cutting off the money spigot, trying to negotiate an end to it right away. I mean, so, you know, if he wins a battleground sweep in the popular vote, it's not that people didn't know what they were voting for.
I do wonder, and especially when you put it in that context, that was one of the things that Vice President Harris struggled with to some extent, and they made the calculation that she wasn't going to get specific about every single potential policy issue. And she is someone who, of course, was thrust into this race with 100 days to go, who had frankly never won a primary. I mean, remember, in 2019, she dropped out before Iowa.
You know what's very interesting in one of the exit polls? Kamala Harris's favorable rating, 48%. Donald Trump's, 44%.
That's right.
People like him less and it appears
But the people who
voted
liked
into
him,
an office.
the people who liked him showed up here, and maybe others as well. And look at Joe Biden's approval rating, too. I do think that comes into play here. His favorability at 41%.
Well, they may not like him, but they like what he says. They like his policies.
I talk to voters all the time that say, I can't stand him. I don't like the way he picks on people. I don't like his tweets. I don't like the way that he picks on people that aren't like him, but I love his policies.
But in his mind, does that validate his worst instincts now? I mean, will the lesson for him of this election be, you know, course works?
Well, and also it doesn't matter, Lester, right? Because he's not going to run for re-election again. That's it. He's going to have these 4 years, and he's the same Donald Trump, but he may govern differently. And what I mean by that is that he knows Washington now. The first time he didn't know Washington. Now he knows Washington. And also the people that are going to sign up for his cabinet, they know what to expect. You remember, all these people signed up, they got approved, and then they quickly were dismissed. What we saw with his campaign that was different from 2016 and really from his White House presidency, the team he assembled is the team that stayed, right? His campaign team, those around him, are the people that stayed. What's different this time around, though, Trump's inner circle is much different. You've mentioned this. No more Jared, no more Ivanka. There's much different people that have gotten close to him over these 4 years. So it may be a little different, and everyone that signs up sort of knows what to expect. I think when you talk about people like Senator Marco Rubio, Senator Tim Scott, these are people who stayed very close to him. They ran against him, but they stayed very close to him. You could see positions like Secretary of State and other cabinet positions being offered to these senators.
Some of the OGs are still around, right? Some of those 2016 people who came in early are
I
think it's Rory Lewandowski who's back in the fold.
Steve Bannon, still an outside advisor. I'm told not planning to go back to the White House, but I think these are people who will continue to be in his
They'll be in his ear.
But I wonder, to your point, though, Lester, when we look at this campaign, one of the things that was much different than what we saw in 2020 and 2016, aside from the candidate himself, the operation was far more disciplined than what we saw in those previous two election cycles.
Absolutely.
Chris LaCivita, who I covered for a long time as a political reporter in Virginia, Susie Wiles, they at least kept the overall message of the campaign, very focused throughout the entire time. Now, he would get off the rails from time to time. That made their lives difficult. But you found them keeping everyone together and focused on a specific message.
But look at the Donald Trump we have seen in just the last few months in terms of message and
He's about to take the stage. Let's listen.
Here's Donald Trump now coming out.
Thank you very much. Wow. much. This is great. These are our friends. We have thousands of friends on this incredible movement. This was a movement like nobody's ever seen before. And frankly, this was, I believe, the greatest political movement of all time. There's never been anything like this in this country, and maybe beyond. And now it's going to reach a new level of importance because we're going to help our country heal. We're going to help our country heal. We have a country that needs help, and it needs help very badly. We're going to fix our borders. We're going to fix everything about our country. And we made history for a reason tonight, and the reason is going to be just that. We overcame obstacles that nobody thought possible, and it is now clear that we've achieved the most incredible political thing. Look what happened. Is this crazy? But it's a political victory that our country has never seen before, nothing like this. I want to thank the American people for the extraordinary honor of being elected your 47th president and your 45th president. And every citizen, I will fight for you, for your family, and your future. Every single day I will be fighting for you, and with every breath in my body, I will not rest until we have delivered the strong, safe, and prosperous America that our children deserve and that you deserve. This will truly be the golden age of America. That's what we have to have. This is a magnificent victory for the American people that will allow us to make America great again. And in addition to having won the battleground states of North Carolina, I love these places, Georgia, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, we are now winning in Michigan, Arizona, Nevada, and Alaska, which would result in us carrying at least 315 electoral votes. But it's much easier doing what the networks did or whoever called it, because there was no other path. There was no other path to victory. We also have won the popular vote. That was great. Very proud of that. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. And, winning the popular vote was very nice. Very nice, I will tell you. It's a great feeling of love. We have a great feeling of love in this very large room with unbelievable people standing by my side. These people have been incredible. They've made the journey with me, and we're going to make you very happy. We're going to make you very proud of your vote. I hope that you're going to be looking back someday and say that was one of the truly important moments of my life when I voted for this group of people beyond the president, this group of great people. America has given us an unprecedented and powerful mandate. We have taken back control of the Senate. Wow, that's good. And the Senate races in Montana, Nevada, Texas, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, were all won by the MAGA movement. They helped so much. And in those cases, every one of them, we worked with the senators. They were tough races, and I mean, the number of victories in the Senate was absolutely incredible. And we did tele-rallies. We did tele-rallies with each one of them. And Sometimes we did 2 or 3 and it was amazing to look at all of those victories. Nobody expected that, nobody. So I just wanted to thank you very much for that. And you have some great senators and some great new senators. And it also looks like we'll be keeping control of the House of Representatives. And I want to thank Mike Johnson. I think he's doing a terrific job. Terrific job. I want to also thank my beautiful wife, Melania, First Lady. Who has the #1 best-selling book in the country. Can you believe that? Oh, no, she's done a great job. Works very hard. Works very hard to help people. So I just want to thank her. But I want to thank my whole family, my amazing children, and they are amazing children. Now, we all think our children are amazing. Everybody here thinks their children are amazing, but that's a good thing when you think they are. But Don, Eric, Ivanka, Tiffany, Barron, Laura, Jared, Kimberly, Michael, thank you all. What a help. What a great help. My father-in-law, Victor, is tremendous, and we miss very much Melania's mother, Amalia. We miss Amalia, don't we, huh? She would be very happy right now, standing on this stage. She'd be so proud. She was a great woman, that one. Beautiful inside and out. She was a great woman. I want to be the first to congratulate our great, now I can say, Vice President-elect of the United States, J.D. Vance. And his absolutely remarkable and beautiful wife, Usha Vance. And he's a feisty guy, isn't he? You know, I've said, go into the enemy camp. And you know, the enemy camp is certain networks. And a lot of people don't like to, sir, do I have to do that? He just goes, okay. Which one? CNN, MSDNC? He'll say, all right, thank you very much. He actually looks fun. He's like the only guy I've ever seen. He really looks forward to it. And then he just goes in and absolutely obliterates them. Say a couple of words here.
Well, Mr. President, I appreciate you allowing me to join you on this incredible journey. I thank you for the trust that you placed in me. And I think that we just witnessed the greatest political comeback in the history of the United States of America. And under President Trump's leadership, we're never going to stop fighting for you, for your dreams, for the future of your children. And after the greatest political comeback in American history, we're going to lead the greatest economic comeback in American history under Donald Trump's leadership.
Thank you very much. He's turned out to be a good choice. I took a little heat at the beginning, but he was, I knew the brain was a good one, about as good as it gets. And we love the family, and we're going to have a great 4 years, and we're going to turn our country around, make it something very special. It lost that little thing called special. We have to make it so. We're going to make this so great. It's the greatest country and potentially the greatest country in the world by far. And right now, we're going to just work very hard to get all of that back. We're going to make it the best it's ever been. We can do that. If we had to wait longer, I don't know. It was going bad, and it was going bad fast. We're going to have to seal up those borders, and we're going to have to let people come into our country. We want people to come back in, but we have to let them come back in, but they have to come in legally. They have to come in legally. Let me also express my tremendous appreciation for Susie and Chris, the job you did. Susie, come here. Come here, Susie. Chris, come here, Chris. Susie likes to stay sort of in the back, let me tell you. The Ice Maiden, we call her the Ice Maiden. Come here, Chris. Come here, Chris. Susie likes to stay in the background. She's not in the background. Come here, say something.
This wasn't expected, but I just want to thank, obviously, President Trump for this journey. It was a great one, and he's a hell of a candidate, and he's going to be a hell of a great 47th president. And this team that we had, the best team, and, of course, even my boss, Susie Wiles, the best. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you, Susie. Look at her, she's shot. I've never seen her be shot before. Susie, they're great. Everybody up here is great. Everybody up here is very special. But the Trump, who did you say? Oh, let me tell you, we have a new star. A star is born, Elon. Now he is. Now he's an amazing guy. We were sitting together tonight. You know, he spent 2 weeks in Philadelphia and different parts of Pennsylvania campaigning. You know, he sent the rocket up 2 weeks ago, and I saw that rocket, and I saw it coming down. I saw it. It was, when it left, it was beautiful, shiny white. When it came down, it didn't look so pretty. It was going 10,000 miles an hour, and it was burning like hell. I said, what happened to your paint job? He said, we've never made a paint that could withstand that kind of heat. And but I saw it come down and turn around. And it was, you know, it's like 22 stories tall, by the way. It looks a little smaller than that, but it's big. And it came down, and you saw that fire burning. And I'm saying, only Elon can do this. It must be an Elon. And I tell the story. I told it last night. I had a man on the phone. I had the screen muted, no sound. I was talking to a very important man, happens to be here. And that very important guy, one of the most important people in, I would say, the country, actually. But, you know, I was president, and now it looks like I was going to be maybe president again, so I figured I could ask him to hold. So I asked him to hold. And especially because you're going to be president again, they hold. So I took the phone down, and I'm looking at the screen. I'm seeing this crazy thing that's going around and coming down. It looks like it's going to crash into the gantry. And I said, oh, no. And I said, do me a favor. Do you mind holding for a couple of minutes? I want to see this. I thought it was a space-age movie or something. I put the phone down. Bad part, I didn't pick it up for 45 minutes, and he was holding. But this spaceship came down, and I saw those engines firing, and it looked like it was over. It was going to smash, and then I saw the fire pour out from the left side, and I put it straight, and it came down so gently, and then it wrapped those arms around it, and it held it, and just like you hold your baby at night, your little baby. And it was a beautiful thing to see, and I called Elon. I said, Elon, was that you? He said, yes, it was. I said, who else can do that? Can Russia do it? No. Can China do it? No. Can the United States do it other than you? No, nobody can do that. I said, that's why I love you, Elon. That's great. And you know, when we had the tragic Hurricane Helene, and it hit North Carolina, they were really devastated, the water. This was a big water, as big as we've ever seen, water hurricane. It built lakes out of nothing. Fields became lakes, and the danger was unbelievable. And the people from North Carolina came to me and they said, would it be possible, at all possible, for you to speak to Elon Musk? We need Starlink. I said, what's Starlink? It's a form of communication. So I called Elon, And I'll tell you what, he had, and it was very dangerous. People would die. They had no communication. All the wires were down. I called Elon Musk. I said, Elon, you have something called Starlink. Is that right? Yes, I do. What the hell is it? He said, it's a communication system that's very good. I said, Elon, they need it really, really badly in North Carolina. Can you get it? He had that there so fast. It was incredible. So, and it was great. It saved a lot of lives. He saved a lot of lives. But he's a character. He's a special guy. He's a super genius. We have to protect our geniuses. We don't have that many of them. We have to protect our super geniuses. I want to thank some of the guys. You know, we have up here today the U.S. Open champion. He's a fantastic golfer. He's slightly longer than me. Hits the ball a little bit longer than me. Just a little bit. Bryson DeChambeau is up here someplace. What happened to Bryson? Where is he? Bryson. Oh, he was shot. He's hitting balls. Oh, he's on the way. He's hitting balls. Bryson. Oh, look at him. He's got a great career going. Great U.S. Open, Bryson. That's a fantastic job. And we also have a man, Dana White, who has done some job. He's a tough guy. So Dana started UFC and came to me, do you mind if I use your, nobody wanted to give him a rinse because they said it's a rough sport, a little rough. And I helped him out a little bit, and I went, and they said, this is the roughest sport I've ever seen, but I began to like it, and he loved it, and nobody's done a better job in sports. And you know, he's a very motivational kind of a guy, what he does. He gets these fighters, and they really go at it, and it's become one of the most successful sports enterprises anywhere at any time. It's doing so well. I'd like to ask Dana just to say a couple of words, because people love to hear from him. Dana, please.
Nobody deserves this more than him, and nobody deserves this more than his family does. This is what happens when the machine comes after you. What you've seen over the last several years, this is what it looks like. Couldn't stop him. He keeps going forward. He doesn't quit. He's the most resilient, hard-working man I've ever met in my life. His family are incredible people. This is karma, ladies and gentlemen. He deserves this. They deserve it as a family. I want to thank some people real quick. I want to thank the Nelk boys, Aiden Ross, Theo Vaughn, Bustin' with the Boys, and last but not least, the mighty and powerful Joe Rogan. And thank you, America. Thank you. Have a good night.
That is a piece of work. No, he's really an amazing guy. But most of all, I want to thank the millions of hardworking Americans across the nation who have always been the heart and soul of this really great movement. We've been through so much together, and today you showed up in record numbers to deliver a victory like really, like no other. This was something special, and we're gonna pay you back. We're gonna do the best job. We're gonna turn it around. It's got to be turned around. It's got to be turned around fast, and we're gonna turn it around. We're gonna do it in every way, with so many ways, but we're gonna do it in every way. This will forever be remembered as the day the American people regained control of their country. So I just want to say that on behalf of this great group of people, these are hard-working people. These are fantastic people, and we can add a few names like Robert F. Kennedy Jr. And he's going to help make America healthy again. And now he's a great guy, and he really means it. He wants to do some things, and we're going to let him go to it. I just said, but Bobby, Leave the oil to me. We have more liquid gold, oil and gas. We have more liquid gold than any country in the world, more than Saudi Arabia. We have more than Russia. Bobby, stay away from the liquid gold. Other than that, go have a good time, Bobby. We're going to be paying down debt. We're going to be reducing taxes. We can do things that nobody else can do. Nobody else is going to be able to do it. China doesn't have what we have. Nobody has what we have. But we have the greatest people also. Maybe that's the most important thing. This campaign has been so historic in so many ways. We've built the biggest, the broadest, the most unified coalition. They've never seen anything like it in all of American history. They've never seen any young and old, men and women, rural and urban. And we had them all helping us tonight. When you think, I mean, I was looking at it, I was watching it. They had some great analysis of the people that voted for us. Nobody's ever seen anything like that. They came from all quarters, union, non-union, African American, Hispanic American, Asian American, Arab American, Muslim American. We had everybody, and it was beautiful. It was a historic realignment, uniting citizens of all backgrounds around a common core of common sense. You know, we're the party of common sense. We want to have borders. We want to have security. We want to have things be good, safe. We want great education. We want a strong and powerful military, and ideally we don't have to use it. You know, we had no wars. 4 years we had no wars, except we defeated ISIS. We defeated ISIS in record time, but we had no wars. They said, he will start a war. I'm not going to start a war. I'm going to stop wars. But this is also a massive victory for democracy and for freedom. Together, we're going to unlock America's glorious destiny. We're going to achieve the most incredible future for our people. Yesterday, as I stood at my last stop on the campaign trail, I'll never be doing a rally again. Can you believe it? I think we've done 900 rallies approximately from them. Can you imagine? 901 something, a lot of rallies. And it was sad. Everybody was sad. Many people, I said, this is our last rally. But now we're going on to something that's far more important, because the rallies were used for us to be put in this position where we can really help our country. That's what we're going to do. We're going to make our country better than it ever has been. And I said that many people have told me that God spared my life for a reason. And that reason was to save our country and to restore America to greatness. And now we are going to fulfill that mission together. We're going to fulfill that mission. The task before us will not be easy, but I will bring every ounce of energy, spirit, and fight that I have in my soul to the job that you've entrusted to me. This is a great job. There's no job like this. This is the most important job in the world. Just as I did in my first term, we had a great first term, a great, great first term. I will govern by a simple motto: promises made, promises kept. We're going to keep our promises. Nothing will stop me from keeping my word to you, the people. We will make America safe, strong, prosperous, powerful, and free again. And I'm asking every citizen all across our land to join me in this noble and righteous endeavor. That's what it is. It's time to put the divisions of the past 4 years behind us. It's time to unite. And we're going to try. We're going to try. We have to try. And it's going to happen. Success will bring us together. I've seen that. I've seen that. I saw that in the first term when we became more and more successful. People started coming together. Success is going to bring us together, and we are going to start by all putting America first. We have to put our country first for at least a period of time. We have to fix it, because together we can truly make America great again for all Americans. So I want to just tell you what a great honor this is. I want to thank you. I will not let you down. America's future will be bigger, better, bolder, richer, safer, and stronger than it has ever been before. God bless you, and God bless America. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Former President Trump making about 25 minutes worth of remarks, essentially acknowledging that he has been called by other networks, not this one so far, as the next president of the United States, coming out with family and supporters there, a crowd that had waited a considerable amount of time, but obviously eager and happy about the outcome of the evening. As we said, NBC News has not projected that he is over the top yet, but he has a clear path to victory and the White House at this point.
And we just saw Barron Trump, 18 years old, cast his first vote in a general election for president today for his father. And people say that Barron Trump has actually had a lot of ideas about having his father appeal to young men his age.
One of the young men
seems to be part of the coalition that we're seeing take shape now.
You heard from former President Trump there. Again, we have not called the race for president for him. We have called the race for Pennsylvania for him, and that appears to be the critical key for him to get to 270 at some point throughout the course of the early evening. He has not officially won the popular vote yet, although he is leading on that front. We have not officially called control of the House of Representatives yet. That could take a while. He clearly feels confident about that, saying that they've won. Again, that is not the case just yet. The Republicans do have control of the Senate, but you heard former President Trump there say that we have an unprecedented and powerful mandate at this historic moment here. He is now, once we officially call the race, would be the oldest president ever elected, only the second president elected to a non-consecutive term. You saw him basking in the moment. At one point, he looked around and said something like, "Isn't this crazy?" I mean, he looked around and said that this even happened. He was extremely confident, at least publicly projecting that in the days before this moment.
He talked about having almost lost his life at an assassin's bullet this summer, and talked about how he feels that some of his supporters, or at least feel that he was saved for this moment, and so he took that tone as well.
And Savannah, he called it the greatest political comeback in the history of this country. He might not.
What?
We went from 100 military-industrial complex.
I says to the guy, right? I says to him, he's standing there, right? No, I says to him. I says to the guy, get this, wait a second. I says to the guy.
This is how legends are made.
Naples, Florida, I'm heading your way.